Hello friends, welcome to another episode of I Play Games and Film It. Quick interim episode here because, as we all should know now, it's World Rhino Day, where we're saving the world from rhinos. We're saving the rhinos from the world, yay! World Rhino Day, where people aren't hunting rhinos anymore. Da-da-da-da. There needs to be a theme tune for that. But yeah, it's World Rhino Day, so we're all rejoicing. So to celebrate World Rhino Day, I'm going to do a video on parenting video games and video game ratings. I'll leave you to figure out the link with that. But yeah, that's what I want to discuss, because it seems to be, obviously with the recent GTA 5 release, there seems to be yet another onslaught of problems with kids playing games they shouldn't be playing. And I'll be honest, this is old. This is so old. This has been going on for years. At least as long as I know, video games have been kind of a part of the mainstream media. And maybe even before that, probably just wasn't looking into it at the time. But first though, I wanted to say, we can't really, as gamers, I don't think we're in a place to be angry about it. And I will point my finger at gamers right now and say, stop it. Because, I'll be honest, like, as far as I'm concerned, I am aware, as far as I'm aware and concerned, that a lot of gamers will have played, at some point in their childhood, a game they should not have played. A game they were certainly too young to play. And in that regard, I kind of look back at it. I mean, I look at the times when I was playing games that I shouldn't have played. And I do remember it being quite fun. It was like a guilty pleasure, like sitting there going, oh, I really shouldn't be playing this, but I am. It feels so naughty. Oh, God, it's great. It's kind of literally like the first time you masturbate. You know, you're kind of going, oh, I don't know if this is right, but it feels so good. Oh, my God. It goes down that same line. So it's unfair, really, for us to be mad about kids playing games that they're too young for. I think it's particularly hypocritical as well. So we should be careful about that. Now, on the other side of things, there is a reason, I think, that kids shouldn't be playing games at a young age. And it does boil back to what they're exposed to. Now, I have to say, when I was younger, games weren't nearly obviously as realistic as they were. The graphics are so much more simpler. It was all very cartoony. And perhaps, in terms of perspective, it would have been a lot harder to draw it'd be a lot easier, to draw the clear lines between realism and fantasy. And I'm sure there are still some grey areas, but in regards to the way that everything presented, it was still very gamey, very comic style. It was very simplistic, very cartoony, and so it would have been a lot harder to draw the differences there. Nonetheless, there were still things that you could clearly say were violent, were inappropriate, were of a sexual nature, of adult nature, and so they shouldn't have been kind of available to the eyes of the young, as it were. Today things got more real, they've got more relatable, certainly more tangible in terms of the violence and the inappropriate scenes and images and things like that, and of course in language as well. So on the other side of things, I think it is a problem that probably should be addressed. Now, how to address it? You've got to leave your hope. I'm talking to people who don't like it, I suppose. You've got to leave your hope really in the parents who are responsible for their children, as opposed to the parents who aren't responsible for their children. Just in the sense that obviously a parent needs to be involved in what their kid's doing. They need to know what their kids are up to. They need to know what their kids are being exposed to. Not to shelter them, not to put a giant wall around them just to go, don't see anything in case it harms you in some way. But certainly just to know and be aware. Because it is important. Now, I would see myself going into a shop with say, a kid, if I had one in the future, with my kid, not just any old kid, my kid, and buying a game. Let's say it was GTA, and suddenly the store assistant would go, just so you know, I mean, I don't know if you're buying it for you or for the kid, but I just thought I'd let you know there are some scenes within this game that are hugely inappropriate for children. Now, if I were to hear that, I'd probably be like, oh, okay, is it worse than what I'd expect? You know, the random, the carjacking, the shooting people and stuff like that. You know, you start to investigate. You kind of go, okay, he's warning me for a reason, this assistant, and I need to know why, because some alarm bells have gone off now because they've obviously acknowledged that I'm with someone who is a minor in regards to the game. And I'd want to know, because I'd actually want to be cautious of what my kid might be exposed to should they play the game. And I think that's the way that the parents should certainly engage with what their kids are doing, so the games they're playing. I mean, I find it funny. One thing that does bug me, and it's a minor side point, the fact that the video games industry at the moment has just the largest collection. If you look across every even current generation console, it has a huge library of video games that actually are perfectly safe for kids to play. It's phenomenal. It's incredible. So I just find it funny that they would only, or that they would even look at, say, Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or Halo as options. Because I just think, what about Terraria? You know, what about Viva Pinata? What about Loco Roco or what was that called? We Love Katamari. What about those kind of games where they're so much fun? There's so much fun. And yet they just don't get talked about. It's only about these R-rated, M-rated games. Probably because of this novelty for kids to go, oh yeah, I'm an adult. I'm old enough to handle this. I can deal with this. It's fine. I mean, I will go on to the point of saying that, you know, I love the argument when people say, oh, I've played this and it hasn't affected me. Because let's be honest, you can't really say how it's affected you. Because you don't know the parallel universe of yourself in which you haven't played it, so you don't know what the differences are. You yourself probably obviously seem fine. I can't say I know how playing certain games has affected me in some ways. But I think it's naive to say that it hasn't affected you in a way. Probably as much as it's naive to say that it has, because you just don't know. You don't know what the alternative outcome would have been. So I think that's just a moot point in general. The point should be that when you expose a child to something for an extended period of time, they will normalise it in their head. And I think graphic violence, graphic sexual scenes, graphic language, being exposed to a young, impressionable person over time will affect them in some way. And it's just hugely important, I think, for parents to understand that. A video game is a video game, and while they might just still see it as just another form of entertainment that's still for kids and for young people, it's not anymore. And that's something that really needs to be pushed, and people need to realise and understand. Because it's just not. I'm sorry, but if you want to see that video games are still for kids, we all should be aware now that in Grand Theft Auto you can now get a hooker, pay for sex, watch them have sex in a car, then kill that hooker and get your money back. One of the most controversial things that's been spoken about publicly in the video games industry, and yet people still have this mentality that it's for kids. It's pretty backwards. So I guess it's kind of a two-way streak. It's kind of gamers, like, come on, just stop moaning about it, because we have been there at some time and we have been that kid, so it's unfair to kind of moan about it. But at the same time, for those people who maybe have kids and those kids who do want kids, just think carefully about what you're exposing your kid to in everything, but certainly with computer games, because it shouldn't be underrated at any point. Really shouldn't be. So that's really it. That's what I have to say on the matter. If you guys have anything to say on the matter, if you disagree with anything I said, or if you have any kind of examples of your own, or any statements you have of your own to make, leave them in the comments box below, and let me know what you think. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, comment, click the thumb button, share with a friend if you like. I know I've asked you to comment twice, but I really want you to comment. And I'll see you in another episode of I Play Games and Film It. Until then, you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.